Anambra State Governor Peter Obi has today emerged the presidential flag bearer of the Labour Party after Professor Tony and two others stepped down for him. And the APC has begun screening of its presidential aspirants ahead of its presidential primary. Wet and clement. That is the state of the weather here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Welcome to the program. It's just a minute after 7 p.m. right here in Nigeria. I'm Sean Wakimaloye, and this is Politics Today. Let's begin by letting you know tonight that the All Progressives Congress APC today began its screening of presidential aspirants seeking to fly the party's flag in the 2023 general elections. The exercise, expected to last 2 days, is being conducted at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja. APC National Chairman Senator Abdullah Adamu, the party's National Secretary Senator Yola Omishore, among party leaders sing at the venue of the exercise. A former Ogun State Governor and lawmaker representing Ogun Central Senatorial District, Senator Bukile Omosun, is also seeking to contest the presidential election. He's also cited alongside Pastor Tunde Bakare and the governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umari. A source told China Television that the APC Presidential Screening Committee is going to be led by John Oyegun, a former Edo State Governor and former National Chairman of the party.
Well, I think the exercise went well. There are the questions I expect them to ask. That was an X-ray on my personality, cross-checking the credentials which I submitted, and a few other questions about, what I've selling myself to the public. They are not unusual questions. They are very fair, and I think I'm happy with my performance.
The party's supremacy is of utmost essence. You cannot force your way through a party structure. The party has a final say, and when that time comes, when we get to that bridge, we know how to cross it.
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is tying up arrangements for a smooth governorship election in Ekiti State next month, as the Commission's chairman personally supervised the mock accreditation of intending voters. The exercise creates a venue for the assessment of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, which takes less than 5 minutes from the submission of voter's card for authentication to the capturing of fingerprint and faces. The chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says he is pleased with the performance of the gadgets as observed across 3 sample local government areas, and he also highlights that 74% permanent voter card collection rate as recorded is impressive.
This is part of the objective of visiting Ekiti ahead of the governorship election. We said that we are going to do a mock test in a few local government areas to further test the functionality of the machines before the election. And so far, so good with the mock. We have visited one of the polling centers in Ado. We are here in Ikere. From here, we'll go to Irepodun, Ifelodun local government for the same reason. An overall assessment is that we are happy with the functionality of the machine. That is one. Number 2, we are also here to look at the readiness of our facilities for the election. As you can see, we have renovated the Ikere local government office, just as we have done with many other local government offices. These are not administrative facilities. They are also electoral assets, because on election day we'll do the RA collation in our local government areas. So far so good. The third leg of the assessment is for us to see how far the PVCs that we have made available to voters have been collected. Remember, without PVCs, citizens cannot vote on election day.
That's the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Now, it's official. A former Anambra State Governor, Mr. Peter Obi, has emerged as a presidential candidate of the Labour Party ahead of the 2023 presidential election. The party conducted a primary for its presidential ticket today in Asaba, Delta State capital. A total of 185 delegates were accredited to vote in the exercise to elect one of 4 aspirants seeking to clinch the party's presidential ticket. However, all 3 contenders, Professor Pato Tomi, Olubusola Emmanuel Teller, and Faduri Joseph, all stepped down for Mr. Peter Obi. Take a listen to the moment when Mr. Obi emerged as the flag bearer of the Labour Party.
We need to rebuild here. We need to give the future generation a hope in this country. A country that is so endured with human and natural resources that have been mismanaged over the years needs a turnaround. And that is the work we just started today.
Well, Mr. Peter Obi, now we have 2 candidates confirmed in the can, waiting for the battle in the general field of the presidential contest. Tonight, we'll be speaking with a potential candidate, another heavyweight as far as Nigeria's politics is concerned. We'll be speaking with us right here on the program. So stay with me, everyone, because the conversation is going to get somewhat interesting. Let's check out some of your political roundup stories, first and foremost.
The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room has expressed disappointment with the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC for backtracking on its earlier stance on the timeline for political parties' primaries, insisting that such inconsistency on the part of INEC pushed some parties to have their primaries notwithstanding the flaws. The group also frowns at what they describe as monetization of the party primaries and asks the electoral umpire to investigate the use of money in ongoing candidate selection process. The Social Democratic Party has inaugurated a national convention and presidential primary election committee with the aim of wresting power from the ruling All Progressives Congress. Speaking in Abuja at the inauguration ceremony, the national chairman of the party, Mr. Shehu Gabam, says the party is determined to rescue Nigeria from the hands of cabals holding the country hostage. The 10-man national convention and presidential primary committee is headed by Mr. Shagununi as chairman, with Mr. Oluwagunloye as secretary.
The party objective to ensure that our great party, our great country is rescued from the hands of the cabal that have held us hostage as a country.
A presidential hopeful under the platform of the Young Progressives Party, Malik Ibrahim, says part of his plan for economic transformation of Nigeria is to tackle the issue of multiple exchange rates in the country. He was briefing journalists at the party secretariat shortly after purchasing the party's presidential nomination and expression of interest forms. Mr. Ibrahim says his decision to contest in the election is to ensure economic development of the country.
Nigeria needs the kind of excitement that I want to bring, the kind of innovation, the kind of resetting mindset on power, security, infrastructure, and above all, gender inclusivity.
A former Minister of Information, Frank Nweke, has won the ticket of the All Progressives Grand Alliance and will now fly the party's governorship flag in the 2023 general elections. Frank Nweke Jr. pulled 273 out of 555 delegates' votes to defeat his closest rival, Jeff Nnamani, who scored 267 votes. Mr. Nweke Jr. has assured citizens of equality of service if elected governor of the state.
I want to just commit myself to ensuring that everyone here is carried along. We're going to join hands because our ultimate aim is to ensure that APGA takes over the seat of government in this state.
The Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Ojus Okalu, has won the ticket of the All Progressives Congress to represent Abia North Senatorial District for a second time. He pulled a total of 777 votes to emerge unopposed, following the stepping down of his opponent, Barrister Fabian Wankwo. The former National Organizing Secretary of APC and candidate for the Imo West Senatorial seat in the 2023 general elections, Senator Osita Izunaso, has expressed confidence that having clinched the APC ticket set for the Imo West senatorial election come 2023, victory is assured for his party, the APC in Imo State.
God Almighty have already done for us. By this victory of yesterday, we are going to win the main election.
Former First Lady of Anambra State, Mrs. Ebele Obiano, has won the North senatorial ticket of the All Progressives Grand Alliance in the primary election. Mrs. Obiano defeated the immediate past Chief of Staff to her husband, Mr. Primus Odili, to clinch the senatorial ticket at the primaries, which was held at the Chuba Ikpeazu Stadium, Onitsha. The former governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, has pleaded not guilty to the 17-count money laundering charge bordering on conspiracy and stealing preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and 6 others. Okorocha took his plea alongside the chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Ayim Chineye, and 5 companies. Following their plea, Okorocha's lawyer, Mr. Oke Amechi, prayed the court to release him on bail, pending the determination of the case against him. Amechi further drew attention of the court to the fact that his client was roughly arrested before APC screening. However, EFCC, through its lawyer, Mr. Agbolahon Latona, told the court that Okorocha raised some issues in his bail application that would require its response. The trial judge, Justice Inyang Ekwa, adjourned the matter till Tuesday to hear bail applications of the defendants and also ordered that they should remain in EFCC custody pending the determination of their bail application. And President Muhammadu Buhari today received in his office the Katsina APC governorship candidate, Dr. Diko Rada. Mr. Rada was led to the president by the state governor, Aminu Masari.
There you have it, you've been served, your political roundup stories. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has been visiting and speaking with his co-contender who battled with him for the ticket of the PDP. The former vice president today visited Governor of Rivers State, Yinsam Wike, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udomu Manuel, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, and former Senate President and former SGF Pius Ayim. Mr. Atiku believes the effort is aimed at reconciling and selling a bond of unity in the PDP. The race for the 2023 presidential elections is thickening by the day, with a parade of heavyweights will become jostling to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023 after the expiration of his tenure. There is a man they say has become a game changer to the political scenario, perhaps for those who think that his possible ambition might throw spanner in the works as far as the scheme of politicking and jostling for the #1 city in Nigeria is concerned. He's the former Minister of Defense and 2-term Governor of Kano State, former member of the National Assembly who represented Kano State in the Senate. He joins us live here in our studio, Senator Robert Muso Kunkunzo. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sean.
When is your party's presidential primary?
Thank you very much, Sean. The NNPP presidential primary is coming up on the 8th of June, of course, this year. And the other date being set by the National Working Committee of our party. So we're all preparing really to go and participate. And I believe our delegates are coming from all over the country. And by the grace of God, that day we will have our own convention. That's on the 7th and on 8th of June.
It's assumed that you are already the presidential candidate. You're just waiting to be announced because you are the only one that is seeking the ticket of your party. It's assumed so, isn't it?
Yes. The sale of forms, like all other positions, were organized by our party. And until the close of the sale of those forms, only my humble self bought the form. So you are absolutely right that on the 7th and 8th of June this year, delegates will come and confirm my candidacy as the presidential candidate of our party, the new Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP.
What do you say to those who feel NNPP was set up as a vehicle for Konkonso? Basically, is that so? Was that did you engineer it just for you to get a platform?
No. This party has been in existence for the last 21 years, but it only came to actual limelight in the last 3 months or so. And we publicized, and of course we worked so hard to tell Nigerians of the presence of the party. And I'm happy to say that within a span of only 3 months, we were able to do congresses at wards, local government states, and zones, the 6 geopolitical zones, and indeed the National Convention on the 30th of March this year. So the contest was open to all Nigerians. Fortunately or unfortunately, until the close of the sale of the forms, it was only me who purchased the form. And that's the position now.
Was it true also that there was only one form that was available anyways?
No, the forms were very many. They printed quite a number of them. But unfortunately, people did not show interest at that particular time. And therefore, I'm the only candidate for now. And I don't believe that there is any other opportunity for anybody to purchase the form.
Okay, so we understand that there was a move for Mr. Peter Obi to join you at the NNPP, and I was going to visit you. What happened? Did that talks collapse between both of you?
Well, actually, we had opportunity to talk to ourselves on many national issues until few days to the time when he declared for the Labour Party, of which now he is the presidential candidate. I wish him well, and I wish all other presidential candidates well. And I'm sure all this will be decided by electorate people across the country who are going to vote on the 25th of February 2023.
Were you thinking that it could be your running mate? Because that was what we understand was going on.
Yes, many people suggested that.
You think that would have been a good choice as a running mate?
Well, I believe it could have been possible, if not because he joined another party. And now he is already a candidate, as we have seen from this news just now. And we look forward to see what happens in the next few days or weeks.
Are you thinking of picking a running mate from the southeast?
Well, we are not there yet. After the convention, then the party will sit down and look around and see if we can have a very good, credible, somebody with capacity, somebody who is acceptable, somebody who can bring as many people as possible to vote for our party as a vice president of the NNPP from southern part of the country.
That's the consideration.
Oh, of course.
Is there a unanimous agreement amongst the northern elites or the northern elders as to the 2023 agenda?
Whether it will come from the north or south? Or
well, I mean, issues, zoning, rotation, has there been any unanimous? As the northern elites or the northern leaders, have they come together that you understand or that you are aware of or that you are privy to, and there is an agenda?
Not to my knowledge. All I know, this is purely the responsibility of every party to sit down and map out strategy to see how or where they can pick their candidate and, of course, their running mate. So we have started seeing that parties are beginning to have their own conventions. And I believe at the end of the day, all these things will be very clear, especially before the submission of names to INEC.
Are you in any way unruffled by the agitation about zoning and rotation. Yesterday, for example, when Mr. Atiku Abubakar emerged as the PDP candidate, the leaders of the Southern and the Middle Belt Forum rose and said they will not accept such decisions from the political parties, because according to them, they believe that for equity and fairness, that issue, the presidency in 2023 should go to the southern region of the country, and they were even making specific requests of where they think it should come from. When you hear that kind of statement, how does it come to you?
Well, I believe the members of that particular party have the right, really, to say that the president should come from this part of the country or the other part of the country. But in any case, in a situation where there was an election, I believe that it's very clear that the party, especially the delegates, decided where the presidential candidate would come from. But for the case, or in the case of APC, the current president certainly is from the north, and people are expecting, under normal circumstance, for the president to come from the southern part of the country. And these are some of the expectations, not only from the southern part of the country, but even from the northern part of the country. Because as I said, as far as I'm concerned, the issue of where the president comes from is purely the responsibility of the parties concerned.
So, this is a national issue, conversation. People think that it is not exclusive to political parties. For those who have argued that President Muhammad Buhari is a Nigerian, the idea of rotation emerged from some major national issues that emerged. For those who make reference easily to how Olusegun Obasanjo as a person also emerged, who ran against the likes of Olufalaye in 1999, and they'll make reference easily to the fact that it was because of major national issues that threatened the nation's unity, and these issues are still existent in the country today. Is it fair to look away from that and give reasons of political party decisions or political parties leaning to run away from those kind of issues?
Yes, as I told you, everybody is entitled to his or her own opinion, whether from northern part of the country or southern part of the country. But to my understanding, the issue of where a candidate comes and even deciding who is the candidate is purely the responsibility of a particular political party. You have seen in the PDP convention, it was only the delegates from PDP. There was no any delegate from anywhere that goes there to participate and decide on who becomes the candidate of that party. And it applies to all other parties. Whether you have one candidate which people will go for affirmation, it was still the delegates. Or you have more than one where election would take place, it will still be the delegates. So you can see that the entire scenario is purely for the particular political party responsible in that particular situation.
Are you aware, or do you reckon that there is some level of division, or there is some kind of there's a need for national cohesion in the country with the way and manner things are going on in the country? Do you believe that our unity in some ways threatened?
Yes, I believe so. And in fact, that was why I left PDP and APC. In fact, that's why we decided to join this political party called New Nigeria People's Party. We are sick and tired of the system as it exists today. And that's why we are in NNPP, to bring change, to ensure that we leave the status quo, we leave the way and manner things are happening in this country, especially as it relates to security, Everybody is concerned. The economy itself is not the best in this country. Of course, all other areas like education, agriculture, infrastructure, everything is in a total shambles. And that's why we felt, my humble self and other friends of like minds believe that the only way out of what we are having today is our party, the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. And so therefore I agree with you 100% that there is need to bring everybody together, from north and south, to the issue of ethnicity, to the issue of religion. We have seen so much division in the last few years in this country, and that is our responsibility, to come and mobilize people to vote for the party, our party, the NNPP, to ensure that all people in this country are brought together and they are given equal opportunities in this country.
I mean, when you talk about equal opportunity, those who will criticize your statement saying your ambition is in fact against the statement you've just made about giving equal opportunities, because you are from Kano State in the northwestern region of the country. And those who argue that northeastern region of the country, north central and the southeast have never had an opportunity to lead this country since 1999. So when you're asking or talking about equal opportunity, have you come to equity with fairness? Have you come to equity with clean hands in that sense?
So people are very selective. Where are you starting from 1999? Why don't you start from 1960? You are talking of 1960. Many people are making that argument. In this North Central you are talking about, we have General Babangida.
Those are military heads?
They are military. Whether they are military or civilian, they are head of state. In fact, they are even more powerful. They didn't have National Assembly. They didn't have, everybody was under them.
But that's
so
what,
president,
it wasn't a unanimous decision of the people of the country.
Yeah, president.
It was the structure of the military that gave birth to these leaders. So you cannot make reference to it, because equity will not come to play at that point. Because of the hierarchy of the military.
I can. You are talking of the head of state or president of this country. In fact, IBB is president. That's what Nigerians call him. But in any case, whether military or civilian, we had in this North Central, we have General Badamasi Babangida, we had Abdusalami Abubakar, we even had General Yakubu Gawan. They are all from this North Central.
What about the Northeast?
Northeast, yeah. If you are talking of Northeast, our first Prime Minister is from the Northeast, and nobody can make any argument against that.
What about the Southeast?
Southeast, of course, we have other leaders like Nnamdi Azikiwe. He is from the Southeast. So you see, we have leaders everywhere. And this democracy or government or Nigeria keeps on moving. If we didn't have, one day we are going to have.
So if President Muhammadu Buhari, for example, exits the stage in 2023, from a neighboring Kano State where you're from, how do you tell the man and the woman from the 5 states of the southeast region of the country that there is actually an inclusion in the sharing and in the distribution of wealth and power in this country when yourself, as a man from the northwest, from Kano State, wants to be Nigeria's president?
Sheung, you are telling me what politicians are saying.
No, I'm telling you what Nigerians are actually saying.
I have more better contact with the voters and Nigerians, probably better than you, in the sense that we always interact. What Nigerians across the country are saying is that in 2023, they would want to see a very capable president, somebody who has integrity, somebody who can do the job. And the parties are saying we want somebody who can win the election for them, plus somebody who can do the job. You see, we have passed the level of all these sentiments, which some politicians, in my opinion, many of them are lazy politicians. I am not contesting from Northwest or from Kano because I am from there. I am contesting because I am Nigerian. I have worked so hard in this country. I have paid my dues as a civil servant, 17 years in Kano as principal engineer in Reka. I have been in the game now right from my days as House of Reps member and deputy speaker in 1992, which is 30 years now. I have been into Constitutional Conference. I was an elected delegate to the Constitutional Conference of 94-95. We drafted this 1999 Constitution. I have been a governor of Kano. I lost the election. I became Minister of Defense in 2003. I was in the NDDC, and of course everybody knows I resigned from NDDC because I felt that was not the best place for me to be. The issue, I mean the rate at which things were happening in NDDC, then I was so angry that I had to resign my appointment. And of course, I was in the Senate, in the 8th Senate from 2015 to 2019. And since then, we have been working, we have been mobilizing. So people will just go somewhere and start talking of sentiments, religious sentiments, ethnicity, and so on and so forth. What Nigerians really are saying, and that's what we are saying also there in the NNPP, that we should get the best. I can assure you, at any given time, I'm not somebody who is desperate in becoming president. My history politically is there. In 2015, I participated in primary election together with this present president. He came number 2. I worked for him so hard, and he won election. I contested with Atiku, who is the candidate of PDP now, in 2019. When I lost, I went and worked for him. That's democracy. In fact, one thing that I want you to know was that in 2003, I lost the election as a sitting governor. My humble self, the deputy governor then, who is the governor now, commissioners, everybody went to Shekara's house to congratulate him. I did not go to court. I believe time would come when the realities will come. So maybe I'm the only governor or anybody holding position at that level who went to him, to somebody who was declared winner, to congratulate him in not telephone call. So you see, I'm a Democrat.
Jonathan also did that as a president. He considered.
No, that's telephone call.
Telephone call.
Yeah, that's telephone call.
You physically.
I went to the house, Shekara's house.
Yeah, let's take a breather, and when we come back, you have been described as a man who has thrown spanner in the works, especially as far as politics in Nigeria and the presidential race is concerned. I'll be asking you direct questions on this one. And perhaps if you think that you're the best man for the job, I will be asking you also direct question on your solution that you're bringing to the table. Because Nigerians don't want any excuse. What they want is solution, solution, and solution. Yes. We'll take a breather, everyone. And when we come back, our conversation with Senator Robbie Musu-Konkonso continues after now. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on Politics Today on China's television. We told you earlier that the PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, has been going around those who ran in the race with him, the likes of former Senate President Bukola Saraki. Okay, there you see the former Senate President Pius Ayim and former SGF. He also visited the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, in his home, and also visited the former Senate President Bukola Saraki at his home, also here in Abuja. And, well, of course, we understand that Governor Nyesom Wike has been giving a reception in his home state of Rivers, where he has also been speaking about what really went down and what he could have done to possibly scuttle the primary, especially against a run of play as things were happening right there at the National Stadium in Abuja. I'd like you to take a listen to the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike.
How people can violate procedures, guidelines. Somebody has spoken. It is at that point he was speaking that he can say, I'm withdrawing. You don't call him back. I just said, look, this our party must not be destroyed. I would have left where I was sitting down. I said, no, this convention can go on, except you allow me to talk. And I would have flattened that, because he says the human being. I would have flattened him. When you see people, a sitting governor who won an election on 300 votes, is this not which vote will you get? So, it is God's will. Let us not bother ourselves so much.
Reactions coming from the governor of Rivers saying some week who was a runner-up in the presidential primary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. We told you earlier, as we speak, we understand that the APC presidential screening exercise is ongoing at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja. Let's continue our conversation now with the former governor of Kano State, former minister and a former senator, who is the presidential aspirant of the NNPP, Senator Musa Rabi Kunko. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Now, you were in Lagos, and it emerged. I'd like to know what exactly took you to Lagos. Some of the pictures that we stumbled on, some of your supporters, you see yourself as a nationalist in that sense, as someone who has a support across the country. Is that how you see yourself?
Yeah.
Not only a leader of a Kwankwansia movement whose support base is majorly in Kano.
Well, thank you very much. The Kwankwansia movement, yes, it started from Kano to northwest to northern Nigeria and the entire country, and even beyond. And that's why anywhere my humble self and other leaders of the Kwankwansia go in this country, you find the young men and women in those particular areas are coming out to cheer them, to support them, to show the total loyalty to the leaders. On the issue of my visit to Lagos, I was in last 2 or 3 days, some leaders, mainly people of northern origin, who are doing their businesses in Alabarago, came to me crying to say that the government have sent a letter to them threatening that they were likely going to demolish the market. And I felt very much concerned, because if that was true, actually it will not be in the interest of Lagos State itself, and of course it will not be in the interest of this country. The governor, I know him as a good man, and I am not sure really if he is fully aware of that demolition. Now, you see, we have enough crises, enough problems in this country, to the extent that my colleagues, governors, must be very careful in what they do. Now, everybody knows the economic situation and security situation of the country. Demolishing thousands of properties, mainly owned by northerners in Alabarago, where they are selling animals and other things that people are taking from northern Nigeria to that part of the country, is not the best. It's not timely. Now, you demolish that place, those millions of people who are benefiting from that market will actually go out of business. And what they do next, only God knows.
Have you spoken with the governor?
No. In fact, I was just coming when I got a call here, and I thought I can come here. And I believe today, things being equal, I would see him or tomorrow. And I will appeal to him to not to go that way. Because, you see, even the bandits, when you get them, even when they are doing the wrong thing, but they will tell you some of the frustrations and injustices that were being meted to them. And that's why we always advise leaders. These are some of the things that we have gone through ourselves. We made mistakes. Given a chance, another chance, we'll do it differently. And of course, that's why now, if something happens in this country, it is our responsibility to advise them. Of course, the governor can use whatever he has to demolish any place, but the consequences can go beyond the governor, beyond the government, even beyond Lagos State. You see, the young men and women I saw yesterday, if you make them jobless, only God knows what will happen in this country. Some would stay there, and some will come back to this part of the country.
You see yourself as the face of the Talakawas, do you?
Yes, of course. That's how we are brought up by Amir Kano. Of course.
Is that what you see yourself?
Oh yes, and it has to be so. Any politician or any father, for that matter, or somebody who wants to be a father, must look at all those who can and who cannot help themselves. Now, these guys cannot do anything. They are voiceless. They cannot say anything. I have an opportunity to talk to you, and I'm talking to you. At least probably the governor, even before I go there, will hear. Maybe he doesn't know. You know, there are so many enthusiastic people who will benefit, so many people like this estate developers and so on. Anywhere they see, including this place now, if they can come and demolish it and put either malls or put whatever, not understanding the consequences, the social aspect and the economic aspect of it.
So the Konkosia movement, Konkosia movement represent a welfareist movement. Is that what it stands for?
Konkosia movement certainly has to do with, one, the needy, the poor, as we call them, talakawas in Hausa, the very old, the very young, people who cannot help themselves. It is the responsibility of government, a responsible government, to cater for them under any
so that's what, if should you be president, that's what you focus on? Of course,
we have to look at that. We'll support everybody, businessmen and women, we support them, they expand their businesses, and that's the only way the poor and the other people can
There is some worrisome perspective of you, of your person, for those who believe that you are a sectional leader, that you are a leader of a region, and that is your strength and that is your capacity. That there's no test to your political capacity across this country.
You see, 30 years ago, I started from a local government, Modobe local government in Kano. After that, I came to constitutional conference with 4 local governments. That was my constituency. Then it has gone to entire Kano State. And by the time I became governor of Kano State, I mean the Minister of Defense, of course my constituency was the entire country. And we have done so much under those positions as Minister of Defense, as Deputy Speaker, House of Reps, as a member of
So you're saying that you're a national, you have a national...
It has to be. You cannot be contesting an election.
Has that been tested nationally? I mean...
yeah, very much tested.
I mean, but what about those who are of the opinion that you're a religious bigot?
Now, I can tell you, if there is anybody who suffered the issue of religion, it is me. In 2003, there are many people in Kano State who believed that I wasn't forthcoming in terms of Sharia or implementation of Sharia in Kano. And that goes a long way in why I lost election in 2000. And,
so you don't see yourself as a religious extremist?
That's what I'm telling you.
Because
you see,
those who hold the opinion that you have some extreme
At that particular time, in 2003, in Kano, many people went and voted based on church and mosque in 2003 in Kano, because our president then, PDP, was a Christian from the south. And many governors at that particular time were telling everybody in northern Nigeria that they should vote for them as governors and vote for Buhari or AMPP at that particular time. I stood as a politician, as a Democrat, I stood my position to say that, look, if president, whether Christian or Muslim, whatever, of my party is thinking, so be it. We go together. And that's why, one of the reasons really why I lost election. So, you know, if you are in politics, people will throw everything, every sapana at you. But the good thing is, we thank God, every day the graph is going up and up. Before now, like I told you, we started from a local government. Now we are at the national level. And I can even tell you that Konkosia is not only in Nigeria. We have offices in many African countries, in Europe, in America, Asia, and so on.
I have, we just about, how many seconds, less than 100 seconds to go on the program tonight. And I have 2 quick questions that I'd like you to answer too. You have been drawn into the politics of the primaries of the PDP. Did you partake in it? We understand that you aided and you supported your friend in giving the delegates to him for the primary. Is that so?
No, you see, I saw that, and I asked my staff to respond to that. Of course, it was denied. It was not true. You see, people would want belittle opponents, or sometimes they even see some people as their enemies. You see, from what I know in politics, the last thing a responsible politician should do is to go and put his fingers on the issue of money. And the good thing is they are saying, I was given money to give to the delegates. Not that I'm stealing money, I'm taking money for myself. And there was no way. There are 1,001 people who can go and collect money for the delegates. And don't forget, I am not a member of PDP. I am in NNPP.
But they still they believe that you hold a very strong control of the structure.
Yes,
you still have control.
That is what they believe.
Some level of control over the structure.
The matter is that I was in PDP before moving to NNPP. There are leaders of the party that were being duly elected, and the matter was being taken from the court in Kano right from the Supreme Court. They are confirmed to be the real elected leaders of PDP. Now, when I was moving to NNPP, of course, they said since there was no any position for them in the NNPP, they would rather, as human beings, stay in their party, and I had no objection. And I knew even if I say don't stay, most of them, if not all of them, will disagree with me and stay there.
Senator Kunkun, so let's rest the conversation on this note. Senator Ojuzo Kalu has said, you have actually forced most political parties for them to be able to look to the north to pick their candidate. As soon as you showed interest, and it looks so much that you are the only aspirant of the NNPP, that you have forced the ends of the political parties to consider the north.
Well, I saw that interview. I felt on one hand very happy that I was that important, that because I've taken a particular political party that on its own is good enough to change the narrative in the political cycle in this country. And maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. But the fact remains that I am not in that political party, and they are free. Any party is free to choose whoever they want to choose.
You see that you can win this
very
election,
much ready
the
for them.
2023 presidential election? Do you think you can?
The sort of politics I play is that when it comes to primary election, very difficult for me. But I can tell you that it's very difficult today to see any candidate in any party, including those who have candidates now and those who are warming up to bring candidates. If it is the masses, the people of this country who are going to vote, I can assure you that, God willing, they will vote for
You will beat an article in the field.
They will vote NNPP.
You will beat an article.
By the grace of God, let's wait and see.
Senator Robbie Musekwonkwanso, the aspirant of the NNPP, presidential aspirant of the NNPP. Thank you so much for coming up.
Thanks a lot. Sure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimberley. Bye for now.